Hey everybody, as I've been reviewing some of the slides you guys have turned in, I wanted to just do a quick video to go over some common mistakes and some easy things you could do to improve your slides. So if we look at the slide that we have here for Chicago, one of the things that I have noticed is a number of people have used fonts that are really difficult to read on the background color. So we can see that we have this red here, and the colors that we often equate with Chicago from their flag is red, white, and blue. So these colors might make thematic sense, but the red is really difficult to read on this blue. So the first thing I'm going to do with this slide is I'm going to go ahead and change this color, and I'm just going to go ahead and make it white. You can see that already makes a really big improvement on this slide and makes it much more readable. Now, one of the other things that seems to be a common mistake is having a lack of balance. We can see here that we have like this big blank area at the bottom of the slide, and we want to use our space a little bit more effectively. So what I'm going to do here, this is a trick that I like to use. I'm going to select my text. And when I have my text selected, if I go to my three dots here on the end of the toolbar, and I come to this icon, it says line and paragraph spacing. And what this allows me to do is actually increase the spacing of my bullets, which will better use the space on my slide. Now my picture still here looks a little bit awkward, and we have quite a bit of space here. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and maybe work with this picture a little bit. And maybe we decided this isn't the right picture at all. So you'll have to make that determination. But what I'm going to try doing is I'm going to select it. I'm going to go ahead and use the cropping tool. And I want to make sure I keep the Willis Tower in there. Oops. Don't want to resize it. I want to crop it. There we go. Maybe I'll crop it here a little bit also. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to resize this. So I can kind of get that to work how I want it. That seems to be a little bit better. Now we have a little bit less blank space here. We're using the slide space a little bit more effectively. Something else you can do, certainly not something you have to do, but if you select the image, and if we come up here, we can create borders. And I'm going to go ahead and do a border. We'll go 4 pixels. And I'm going to change it to black. So we kind of offset our picture there. Or maybe if we don't like that, we can go ahead and maybe we'll just do white. And I can increase that also. Certainly not something that you have to do. And if we're still not liking the way this looks, maybe we find an image that is more vertical. And so you can go out and find one maybe that uses the space a little bit more effectively. And I'm also going to go ahead and I want to make sure that my title kind of stands out from the rest of the slide. So I'm going to go ahead and bold it, and I'm even going to try using a different font here. Let's try the Bree Sans Serif. And if we wanted to use one of those, a red, in this situation, well, I still don't like it. As you can kind of see, I'm talking myself through this as I go, and you should be doing the same thing to make sure that your slides turn out the best they can look. I'm going to go ahead and use black. And I don't know if I like the font, so I'm going to go ahead and look for a different one. I do always like Candle. I'm going to increase the point size there. And I'm going to put it down a little bit. And I'm going to take a look at this now to see what this looks like. If I go into slideshow mode. And I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks better than what it started off as. So I think what's important is that you guys make sure that as you're going through and creating your slides, test it in presentation mode to see what it looks like. Play around with the colors and try and move around your images or crop them, or maybe find an entirely different image to use that might better suit your slide. A couple other quick things to note with your slides. You'll notice that I have started each bullet point with a capital letter. By starting each bullet point with a capital letter, it makes everything look more consistent. So try to maintain consistency by starting your bullets off with a capital, at least in the primary bullet. If you have a sub bullet, you don't need to necessarily do that. The other thing too is you will notice that I'm not using any periods at the end of the bullets. Typically in these types of presentations, we are not writing incomplete sentences, which means it does not necessitate using a period at the end of the statement. It is also a way to maintain consistency. Now, of course, if you are quoting somebody or something like that and it's word for word, then you will use typical punctuation and periods and things like that. But otherwise, it's really not necessary. So just a couple other things to keep in mind as you are creating your slides. If you have any questions, again, please make sure you reach out to me, but hopefully these are a couple tricks to help you improve your slides.